Have you ever wondered why? Just when you think you're ready for love, real love, everything seems to fall apart. Why the people you meet leave deeper wounds instead of healing the old ones. Why life becomes lonelier right before it feels like something beautiful is meant to arrive. There's a truth most people don't talk about. Before the right person enters your life, the universe often sends you a storm. It's not punishment, it's preparation. It's the quiet, invisible way life tests your heart to see if you're truly ready to hold what you once prayed for. So if you're listening now, feeling like your soul is tired, like you've given too much, trusted too easily, or waited too long, I want you to know this: you are not broken. You're being shaped. This message is for the ones who have stayed loyal to love even when it hurt. For the ones who had to walk away from someone they wish they could keep. For the ones who wonder if the universe has forgotten their softness, their loyalty, their quiet hopes. You're not lost. You're in between the old version of you who chased what hurt and the new version who's learning to receive what's right. Stay with me. Because in the next few moments, we're going to walk through the invisible tests life gives before real love appears. The tests that break open your illusions, strip away your defenses, and reveal who you really are beneath all the noise. These are not lessons of the mind, but awakenings of the heart. And as you listen, take a breath. Let each word settle like a soft whisper into the parts of you that ache for understanding. You don't have to fix anything right now. You just need to feel seen. If these words reach a tender place in you, if you've ever felt unseen, unchosen, or misunderstood, then this space is for you. This is not a lecture. It's a remembering, a returning to your own truth. And if this message finds you in the middle of your healing journey, take a moment to support this space. It's a quiet act of gratitude for yourself and for every other heart listening alongside you, walking through their own transformation. You can gently subscribe, leave a like, or share your reflection in the comments, not because you're asked to, but because your voice, your presence, your energy, they matter here. Now, let's begin the unfolding. The universe doesn't hand you the right person when you're still attached to the wrong ones. It first shows you reflections, people who awaken your deepest wounds, who stir the ache you've buried, who remind you of the love you once chased that never stayed. They come like mirrors. They touch your tenderness, not to harm it, but to reveal it. You think it's love because it feels familiar, the same longing, the same hope, the same ache in your chest when they turn away. But what you're really meeting is your past wearing a new face. The first test is often disguised as heartbreak, not to destroy you, but to show you the difference between being wanted and being chosen, between being seen for your light and being used for your warmth, between chasing what feels urgent and waiting for what feels safe. You'll meet someone who reminds you of the love you had to beg for. They'll make promises they can't hold, or love you only halfway, and a part of you will ache to stay because something inside still believes love is earned through suffering. That's the old you speaking. The one who learned to accept crumbs because the banquet never came. And when that person leaves, or when you finally gather the strength to walk away, you'll hear the silence echo. You'll ask yourself, why do I keep ending up here? Why do I attract the same kind of pain? But that's the question the universe is waiting for you to ask. Because only when you see the pattern do you gain the power to break it. The pain isn't a punishment. It's an awakening. It's your soul saying, you deserve more than what you've been settling for. It's life teaching you to stop chasing lessons and start receiving love. But here's the hardest part. You can't skip this test. You can't fast forward to the right person without walking through the mirrors first. Because until you face your reflection, your fear of being abandoned, your need to prove your worth, your habit of shrinking to be loved, you'll keep calling in people who mirror that pain. The right person can't arrive while the old story still holds the door. So when the universe sends you someone who feels like home but hurts like a wound, don't see it as a failure. See it as sacred preparation. This is the part where you learn to love yourself enough to leave what doesn't honor you. You may cry, you may question your strength, you may feel empty, but beneath the ache, something powerful is forming. A new standard, a quiet vow whispered in the dark. Never again will I abandon myself for love. And the moment you speak that truth, not with words, but with choices, the universe listens. It begins to rearrange everything. People fall away, patterns collapse. Your old world dissolves, and in its place, something new begins to rise. But before that arrival comes another test. After the mirror breaks, there is silence. A stillness so deep it almost feels like loneliness, but it's not. It's the sound of your soul recalibrating, rebuilding, remembering who you are without the noise of chasing or being chased. This is the second test, the quiet one. The one that doesn't shout or sting, but lingers. Where no one texts back, no one reaches out, and you start to wonder if maybe love has passed you by. But this space isn't emptiness. It's sacred ground, because healing doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in stillness, when the world stops asking for your energy and starts asking for your truth. When you're no longer distracted by someone else's story, you finally hear your own. And it's here that the universe watches quietly to see, will you fill the silence with noise? Or will you learn to rest in your own presence? Most people rush this part. They run back to the familiar old lovers, new distractions, temporary warmth, just to avoid the ache of being alone. But the silence is not a punishment. It's an invitation to meet the version of you who no longer needs to beg for love because they have become it. In the quiet, old memories rise. You'll think about the ones who hurt you, the ones you hurt, the moments you stayed too long. You'll replay the scenes and whisper, if only I had known. But that's the point you're knowing now. This is the test of trust. Can you trust that what's meant for you is not delayed, only prepared? Can you trust that love is not something you chase, but something you grow into? Can you sit in the stillness and say, even here I am whole? The universe watches not your perfection, but your patience. Because before love can find you, you must become the place where love feels safe to land. Not a storm of longing, but a sanctuary of peace. It's here, in this in-between, that you begin to build your own home. You light candles, write letters to your future self, forgive the ones who couldn't stay. You start speaking gently to your reflection. You begin to see your scars not as proof of damage, but as evidence of survival. You learn to enjoy the quiet evenings, to dance alone in your kitchen, to watch the sunrise, and whisper gratitude, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally feel enough, even in the waiting. And as your heart softens, the silence becomes a friend. It teaches you to listen to your intuition, to your desires, to the whispers of the life you're creating. Then one day, without announcement, the air shifts. You begin to feel a stirring subtle, like the first breeze before dawn. Something is coming. But before it arrives, there is one more test. Just when you've found a fragile peace in your solitude, when your heart begins to feel steady, the universe will often send one final test familiar faces from your past, knocking gently at the door of your growth. It could be the one who left you guessing, returning with words they never said. It could be a message in the night, a memory rekindled, a what-if disguised as closure. It could be the same type of person, wearing a new name, whispering the same promises. And for a moment, your heart trembles. You wonder, maybe this time it will be different. But the universe isn't cruel. It's asking, have you learned what love truly is? Can you see the difference between comfort and connection, between nostalgia and truth? This is the third test, the test of recognition. To see if you've grown enough to choose differently, the past returns not to tempt you, but to mirror your progress. Because once, you would have said yes without hesitation, drawn by the pull of old stories, the ache of unfinished dreams. But now, you pause, you breathe, you listen. You feel the whisper in your chest. This is what you used to settle for. This is what you once called love when it was only longing. You remember the sleepless nights, the unanswered messages, the version of you that kept giving, hoping, waiting. And you smile, not in bitterness, but in quiet recognition. You're no longer the same. You no longer crave chaos and call it passion. You no longer confuse being chosen with being seen. You no longer accept half-love because your heart has learned what wholeness feels like. Saying no to the past is not cruelty. It's sacred self-respect. It's telling the universe, I am ready for more. I am ready for true. It's the final key that unlocks the next chapter. But make no mistake, this test will tug at you. The familiar always does. It knows your soft spots, your memories, your hope. But growth is not forgetting. It's remembering and choosing differently. You'll feel the ache of what could have been, but you'll also feel the peace of what now is clarity, strength, a quiet knowing that love should not hurt to be real. And as you close the door kindly, firmly, you'll feel the air shift again. A weight lifts. A chapter ends without resentment. You'll realize the lesson was never about losing someone, but about finding yourself. This is when your energy changes. You move through the world differently. You stop chasing. You start attracting. Your presence softens. Your eyes grow calmer. Your spirit steadier. You no longer seek love to complete you. You become the space where love feels at home. And when that happens, when your heart is no longer grasping, but glowing, the universe knows you are ready. And soon, it answers. It doesn't happen with fireworks or music. It arrives quietly like morning light slipping through the curtains, soft and certain. The right person doesn't crash into your life. They enter like a deep breath you didn't know you'd been holding. And suddenly, everything you once thought love was proving, pleading, performing feels distant, almost unreal. They come not to complete you, but to meet you. They don't awaken chaos. They anchor calm. There's no guessing, no wondering where you stand, no shrinking yourself to fit their comfort. Their presence feels like safety, not intensity. You talk, and it feels like coming home to a language your soul has always spoken. You notice the difference immediately. Because you've walked through the storms. You've been tested by longing, shaped by silence, and refined by the return of the old. So when this connection arrives, it doesn't feel like adrenaline, it feels like truth. They don't just see your light, they understand your shadows. They hold your hand when words fail, and you feel no need to hide your scars. The love between you doesn't demand, it nurtures. It doesn't drain, it restores. And in their eyes, you find the reflection of everything you became while waiting. You realize then, the universe was never withholding love. It was waiting for you to become the person who could hold it. Every heartbreak, every lonely night, every tear shed into the silence, it all shaped you into someone who loves with wisdom, not desperation. You learned boundaries, not walls. You learned to speak your truth, not silence your needs. You learned that love is not meant to break you, it's meant to walk beside you. And as you stand in this new love, you no longer fear losing it. Because now you know true love is not about possession, it's about presence. It's not about being chosen out of fear, but about choosing each other from fullness. This is the gift that follows the tests. A love that feels easy because you've done the hard work within. A love that feels calm because you've already survived the storms. A love that stays because you no longer chase what runs. You'll look back and understand the waiting wasn't wasted. The pain wasn't pointless. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every ending, it all guided you here. To the moment where you finally meet someone who doesn't just love the idea of you, but the truth of you. And in that moment, you'll thank the universe. Not just for bringing them, but for shaping you into the one who could receive them. But even then, the story isn't about them, it's about you. Because the deepest love was always meant to begin within. And now, you know, when love finally feels like peace, something beautiful happens inside you. You stop searching for signs and start trusting your own presence. You begin to realize that the universe's greatest gift was never another person. It was the version of you who learned to love without losing yourself. You see, the right person doesn't arrive to save you. They arrive to witness the one you've become, to hold space for your growth, to walk beside your strength, to speak gently to your spirit. But they can only meet you as deeply as you've met yourself. And you have met yourself in the quiet, in the nights when your chest ached for understanding, in the mornings you chose to rise anyway, in the moments you turned your pain into purpose, your longing into lessons, your solitude into sanctuary. You no longer crave intensity that burns. You crave depth that nourishes. You no longer need constant reassurance, because you've built a home inside your own soul. The tests were never about love alone. They were about awakening your worth. They were about peeling away every mask that told you you were too much or not enough. They were about reminding you that you were always worthy, not because someone stayed, but because you existed. Now, with this new awareness, you love differently. You listen more softly. You speak more truthfully. You give, not to be chosen, but because your heart overflows. You receive, not out of need, but because you know you deserve tenderness. The universe smiles here, because you've finally understood. Love is not a destination. It's a way of being. It's how you hold yourself through every season, how you forgive your past, honor your journey, and open your heart to what's real. And in this place, even if people come and go, you remain grounded. You no longer chase. You no longer beg. You simply radiate, trusting that what's aligned will stay, and what's not will gently fade. You begin to see beauty in the small things again. The way sunlight dances through the window, the sound of laughter echoing through an empty room, the quiet knowing that no matter what happens, you're whole. You realize that the tests were not about proving yourself to the universe. They were the universe proving itself to you, showing you that love is not something fragile, but something infinite, waiting within you all along. And from this space, you begin to live differently. You stop running from your wounds and start tending to them with grace. You speak your truth without fear of being too much. You rest in your authenticity, knowing the right souls will recognize it. This is your becoming the gentle unfolding of a heart that once feared love, now learning to embody it. You've crossed the threshold. You've passed the tests. You're not just ready for love, you've become it. And now, as the echoes of your old stories fade into silence, you stand here steady, whole, radiant. You've walked through mirrors that broke you open. You've sat in the silence that rebuilt you. You've faced the ghosts of your past and chosen truth over longing. And because of that, you now hold a love that feels like peace. You understand now, the universe never tests to punish. It tests to prepare, to soften what was hard, to heal what was hidden, to remind you of the power that's always been within. You were never waiting for someone else, you were waiting to meet yourself. So take a breath. Feel the quiet strength in your chest, the soft hum of gratitude. You've come so far, and whether the right person has already arrived or is still finding their way, know this love is already here, moving through you, shaping your world in quiet ways. You are ready. Ready not just to be loved, but to live with your heart open, your boundaries clear, and your spirit unafraid. If these words touched something inside you, if you felt seen, understood, or gently reminded of your own strength, let that be your offering. Share this space with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a reflection in the comments, a whisper of your journey, so another soul might find light in your story. And if you want to walk together through more moments like this, softly, honestly, with truth and tenderness, stay connected here. You're part of a growing circle of hearts learning to heal, to rise, to love again, because the journey doesn't end when the right person arrives. It deepens, and you beautiful, brave soul are already becoming everything you were meant to be. Thank you for listening, for feeling, for staying. May you trust the timing of your life. May you honor the lessons that shaped you. And may you always remember, before the right person comes, the universe prepares you, so when love finally arrives, you'll be ready to receive it with both hands open and a heart unafraid.